Hey guys, today is a super exciting announcement and just life update from me. As you see from the title of this video, I am pregnant with baby number 3, and so I wanted to give you a little update as to what's been going on for the last few months. And I will also be sharing the gender of baby number 3 in this video. Maybe you're surprised, or maybe you already know. I had people who were DMing me when I was like 6 weeks pregnant saying that I was pregnant, which maybe not super appropriate. But I am pregnant. I am currently over 21 weeks pregnant with baby number 3. This is the longest I've waited to share publicly, but it's just been really fun to just kind of like keep it a surprise, just keep it like to ourselves for a bit and just enjoy that. But I feel like I'm getting to the point where it's a lot harder to hide. So I wanted to give an update on how this pregnancy has been so far. I'll give you the gender and just share like what we've been up to the last few months and how everything has been. So like I mentioned, I am 21 weeks and I am due August 12th. This baby has been measuring ahead by like 5 days. And also I had both my boys early. My second one, I had him 11 days early. So I kind of anticipate that this baby will be early as well. My birthday is July 29th, which is when I will be 38 weeks pregnant, which is my 30th birthday. So I wonder if I will have a birthday buddy or if baby will stay in for a little bit longer than that. We shall see. But I'm also a little anxious to have a summer baby here in Phoenix, Arizona. So that'll be interesting as well. Okay, so finding out I am pregnant. This baby was completely planned, and when I am testing for pregnancy, all of my pregnancies have been planned. And so I am such an early tester. I will test at like 9 days past ovulation and like track everything, know exactly when everything happened. And so I test as early as like 9 days, and I like find like the faintest little squinty line. So we had actually been trying for 4 months, I think, before I did end up getting pregnant. And I ended up finding out I was pregnant at the end of November, which was a crazy time if you followed me then, which wasn't that long ago. But we were actually in the middle of a move from Portland, Oregon to Phoenix, Arizona. So the day that I found out I was pregnant, my husband was actually already down here in Phoenix, and I was still up in Oregon staying at my parents' house with my 2 boys. And so one morning I tested and I was like, yep, I'm pregnant. So I will insert that video clip here because I did take that on my phone. Good morning. I'm taking a pregnancy test. I'm living with my parents. A couple days ago I started feeling like total cramping. And that's always like first sign for me. I'm 10 days past ovulation today. Yesterday I took a test and I feel like you can see a tiny line, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I'm just reading into it. So we'll see with this one. I already dipped it. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Gosh. I don't know if you can see. I'm excited. I don't know why I'm surprised, because we were trying, but it had been 4 months, and this is the longest it's taken for any of my pregnancies. And then the little baby come in. Also, we move in 2 days to Arizona from my parents' house in Oregon, so that's big. And my husband is already down in Arizona getting our house ready, so that's crazy timing. And so later, after I found out I was pregnant, I called my husband, and we were just like talking on FaceTime as he was down here, and I was like, hey, like, I'm pregnant. And he's like, oh, exciting, that's great. It's just funny how much different a lot of that has felt with a third baby. Not that we're not excited about it, obviously we are, but just it's like, oh, I'm pregnant, we got a positive test. My husband is not here, but I'm not gonna wait to tell him. So it was a few more days till I actually like saw my husband after taking the test. But so therefore I found out I was pregnant, I think 2 days before we ended up flying down to Phoenix. And so I was pregnant for our move. The good news is that I don't start feeling sick until like 6 weeks. So the first couple weeks that I knew about my pregnancy, as we were getting settled into our house, I wasn't feeling sick yet. So that was good. I'm just going to take you through like a sequence of events kind of thing, because the next thing that we did was find out the gender of the baby. So I did the sneak peek test, and I did that with my second one as well. It ended up being correct, and at that point when I did it with my second son Jack, you were able to find out at like 7 weeks, but now you're able to find out at 6. And again, because I found out so early that I was pregnant with baby number 3, I had like 2.5 weeks until I was able to actually take the test for a sneak peek. But I took it right at 6 weeks, did it here at home, mailed it in, and right then was when I was like starting to feel a little sick. So it was for me right at 6 weeks. So I did the blood test, and then a few days later got the email, and we found out that we were having a 3rd boy, which is crazy. 3 boys in a row, and I expected absolutely nothing less. It's funny because then people, when you say I'm having a 3rd boy, people aren't very excited about it, which is a bummer. I'm honestly really excited about it. And I think about like the relationship that my 2 boys have, and it just like makes sense to add another boy to it. Like, I don't know how else to explain that. I think that like before I had kids, I always anticipated that I'd have a girl, and then once I had my second boy, I kind of had this, like, I was so excited to have 2 boys and for them to have that brotherly relationship, but you also kind of grieve like not getting to experience raising a girl. Like it's an and feeling. I don't know if anyone has felt that. As excited as I was to have a boy, I also, it's, you know, you're like, oh, I don't get to experience having a girl. And so I feel like I really worked through those feelings with my second, and I just always expected like, if we have more children, it's going to be a boy. Like, that is just what I expected. And so when we found out it was another boy, I was genuinely really happy, and it was just kind of like, yep, that makes sense. And I was not disappointed at all. Not at all. And so, yeah, we have just been excitedly telling people we're having a 3rd boy, we're having another baby, it's a boy. And yeah, I think that the reaction is a little bit different from people when you're like, oh, it's a 3rd boy. And I just wish that we could all be happy for having 3 of the same gender. I feel that way. I'm excited that like my boys get to all grow up together and be close in age. So Peter and Jack, my first 2, are 24 months apart, and then Jack and this boy will be 26 months apart. So they're all going to be super close in age there, and I'm excited for that. Like, I think back to like when I was in high school, I knew like some brothers were like 3 brothers, and it was just like you always thought of them as like, you know, like I'm just excited to think of like, oh, the Lyda brothers, you know. And I think of that with, again, people who I knew in high school of, you know, they're the brothers, and there's 3 of them, and I just think that was really special. So I'm looking forward to that. It's also crazy to me like the probability of all of that, of like having 3 boys in a row. Like, obviously for this baby, it was still a 50-50 chance as to whether or not it would be a boy or a girl. But if you would have told me in 2019, like, the probability of having 3 boys in a row is 12.5%. Like, that is so crazy. That is so wild to me. But yes, we're excited for another boy, and I think it'll be like a really sweet brotherly bond. I feel like it just makes sense. We're already living the boy life, so add another boy to the bunch. Okay, some symptoms that I've experienced. So like I said, starting at 6 weeks is when I start to feel nauseous, and that was definitely the case with this baby as it was with my previous pregnancies. I would say that I was sicker this time. Thankfully, with all of my pregnancies, I never was like throwing up sick, but just feeling really queasy and feeling like I just rode a roller coaster 5 times in a row. And it's harder when I then have 2 toddlers to also take care of and just don't have as much time to rest. We did some screen time mornings a little bit in December, very often, because I was like, I just need to chill. And actually what really got me this pregnancy was the evening sickness. It was like I could barely make it to their bedtime, and then after that I was like done for the night, and I just like laid on the couch and just couldn't do anything else because I just felt so sick, and I was like, I have to go to sleep or else I will throw up. So that was what I was feeling from weeks like 6 to 12, and then after 12 then it started to get better. So again, I'm grateful that I'm not throwing up all day, but I did feel more queasy this time. Also, we moved away from family here in Phoenix, so I didn't have, you know, that family help or anything when I was feeling super sick. Funny enough, I think my like sickest week was like Christmas week, and we actually did have family in town, and so we told them that, you know, we were expecting, and that was nice to have a little bit of help with them so that I could rest a little bit more that week. But yes, I was sick. Also, my bump has come on so much faster. I think by the time I was 12 weeks, like you could definitely tell that I was pregnant. It's crazy to me how much faster like this bump is shown. Like I was even just looking at, you know, pictures of me when I was pregnant with Peter, my first, when I was like 7 months pregnant, and I look that pregnant right now. So I feel so much more pregnant than I did with the first two. Especially my first pregnancy with Peter. I feel like when I was 20 weeks, that was when I like barely started to show, and I've been showing for like 2 months. So that's been interesting. The other thing with this pregnancy is that it's kind of been a mix of both my other pregnancy symptoms. So when I was pregnant with Peter, if you followed me since then, you may have remembered that I had severe congestion. Like my nose was just a running faucet all day long. I would sneeze constantly, have to just blow my nose, and I was so congested, so much like pressure and pain, and my nose would just gush, and I would go through 200 plus tissues a day. I was also a first time mom, and I didn't want to take any medication because I was a first time mom. I was like, I don't want to do that. Still, I don't like to take medication if I don't absolutely need to. But so with that congestion with Peter, that lasted for 30 weeks. It was from weeks 10 to giving birth. And around that time, same time, like 10 to 12 weeks, is when I started getting congestion with this pregnancy. But what I've been doing is taking an antihistamine every day. So I take half a Unisom every night, and I just feel like I need to do what I need to do to get by, because I have 2 other little kids that I need to look after. And I was miserable with my pregnancy with Peter, and I just can't be that way. So take the Unisom at night so that I can get some sleep and then have less congestion. That is an antihistamine. And so that has helped me to like keep it from being super intense. I still do blow my nose a whole lot, and I don't sleep like, I feel like I still sleep like I have a cold kind of thing, but it is a lot better than it was in my pregnancy with Peter. But yeah, I'm still blowing my nose, and I even brought a tissue in here for filming this video because I sit here and blow my nose all day. The other thing that's actually really helped is that we have a split king bed now with an adjustable frame. And this is my first pregnancy having that, and it has been life-changing because I sleep at an incline. It's been really helpful like to use whenever you're sick to like have that incline, but this pregnancy of having all of the congestion and nasal stuff, I like sleep pretty high up on an incline, and that's been really helpful as well. And then the other symptom that just hasn't been super fun this pregnancy has been pelvic pain, and I had this with Jack where I didn't have it with Peter. And I've had like the SI joint pain like on my back, and then more recently have also had like SPD, like front pelvic pain. Anyway, so I'm also very out of breath. So that has been a little more painful to deal with, but one thing that I'm doing this pregnancy has been going to physical therapy. I haven't been in a while because I like went for a few times to learn, you know, like what are some things I can do to help keep this more at bay. And so that was really helpful to go to physical therapy. And then I can do those exercises at home, and I will continue to go if I need to, if it gets bad. Whereas like with my pregnancy with Jack, it got so bad that I like struggled to walk. I don't want to get to that point. And I feel like it has been better this pregnancy than with Jack's, but yeah, that's been another fun symptom as well. I also wanted to touch on the finance side of things for this pregnancy. So Jacob works for a different company than he did when we had Jack. And when we had Jack, Jacob got 4 months of fully paid parental leave, which was so nice. And his new company, he gets 3 months of fully paid parental leave, which is still really amazing. So looking forward to having that. That'll be fully paid. I work for myself, so I'll still be working in some capacity, hopefully taking a little bit of time off. You also may have noticed that I was just a little MIA for December and January. That's because I just felt like trash. So I wasn't here a whole lot. But then otherwise, having a third boy, I feel like there's just not a whole lot of financial things that we need to like prep for, because we like have everything we essentially need. I am going to keep Jack in his crib, so I am going to buy a new crib. When we had Jack, we moved Peter to a like floor bed, and it it was not an easy transition. I feel like we just did it too soon. So I'd rather just wait on that for Jack and just keep him in a crib for longer. So we're just gonna buy a second crib and a crib mattress. And then we bought like a new dresser for his room. So the room that I'm in currently will actually become the nursery, and then my office will kind of get moved around. But that's basically it for like as far as the things that we need. I like need to get a sound machine, a couple like little things. I actually did open up a Target and Amazon baby registry, not because I'm having a baby shower for a third boy, but because you can then get a completion coupon to save 15% on things that are on your registry. So for the few things that I need to get, I have a registry going, and then I will buy those things and get the discount. So I don't need a whole lot of things, mostly like postpartum care stuff is all I can really think of. I did buy my breast pump already through insurance. You get a free breast pump through insurance for each baby. I think there's like a timeline, like you can't have a baby like maybe every year or something like that. I don't know. You gotta look at the details of all of that, but I do qualify for another breast pump with my insurance, and so I did get like an upgraded one. I got the Spectra Gold portable one, so I'm excited for that. That's all of the exciting things that come with third baby life, is the breast pump that I'm buying. So that is like kind of what we've been up to. We are still working on finalizing a name for the baby. I won't be sharing publicly until he is born, I think, but it's been fun. It's been really sweet too to have Peter be almost 4 and just comprehend more of what's going on. And so he talks about the baby and mama's tummy, and he tells me that he's gonna help change the diapers and feed the baby and play with the baby. And it's just really sweet to see him like actually know what's going on, because he didn't understand that when he was only 2 when Jack was born. So I know it's going to be a big transition for everyone when we add a new baby to the mix, as expected. But I think that it'll just be really sweet to have another baby boy in this household. But I think there's just something so sweet about having a little boy. Obviously I have nothing to compare it to because I don't have a girl, but I love having my sweet little boys, and I'm excited to add another one to the bunch. So that is a wrap on this little announcement. So thank you all for your support, and if you noticed that I was pregnant and you didn't say anything, thank you. I appreciate that. And I will be updating on any kind of financial things that come about with having a baby. I also do want to let you know I do have a course called Budgeting for Baby, which I created after I had my first son Peter, where I talked about all the money things related to having a baby. Insurance being a really big one of those. We are saving for our max out of pocket this year because we plan to hit that with labor and delivery. But if you want to check out that course, I will link it down below, and you can check that out if you are expecting a baby and a little stressed about finances, because I understand that can be such a stressful financial time. So thanks so much for hanging out, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.